I have to admit that Dr. Oz's infamous comment the other day that in key health decisions, not only should there be a woman and doctor involved, but local political officials has really inspired me to think through what that conversation looks like, especially in a gerrymandered state like Ohio, where those officials are extremists, locked in and guaranteed. So in Dr. Oz's Ohio office, at least, here's what the conversation would look like based upon these officials' words and actions of recent past. You know, one guy in the room would be an actual doctor who's also a state senator. He'd be really paying close attention to make sure everyone was washing their hands. Particularly, though, if either the woman or the doctor were African American, he'd be paying close attention because he said not long ago that he thinks African Americans wash their hands less than others. You'd also have in that room a woman who, if this was a tragic case of a rape leading to a pregnancy, this woman would be telling the victim, don't worry, rape is your opportunity to deliver a child in the world. That's what she'd tell her based on her recent comments. She'd also would tell them she's thinking of planning to ban birth control. You have also in the room her predecessor, also a prior state rep, who would be especially energized if this was an ectopic pregnancy, life-threatening. He would demand of that doctor, you must correct that pregnancy through a surgery. Of course, the doctor would say back, there isn't such a surgery, you can't do it. And this guy would say, well, I'm not a doctor, but I read a medical journal from 100 years ago that says you can do it, so go ahead and do it. Another guy, if these two, if the patient or doctor had agreed on IVF treatments, this state rep would say, sorry, you can't do those in Ohio. I believe that pregnancy and life begin at fertilization, and that position basically eliminates the chance of having successful IVF. This guy would then come along and say, doctor, I hate to tell you this, but if you go ahead and advise something that you think is the best interest of that woman, we may charge you with murder for doing so. And then this guy would come along and say, oh, by the way, as you are giving advice to your patient, you must tell her that having an abortion may lead to breast cancer. The doctor would, of course, say, well, there's no evidence of that, but this guy would tell him, you must do it anyway. This is the extremist room that we're talking about, Dr. Oz and everyone else. This is what will happen if we don't stop what's happening in this country. But you can stop it in the next 12 days. Get them all out of that room.